Tropes. All series have them, and Transformers is no exception. You might be familiar with some tropes like Optimus Prime always dying, Starscream getting abused, there being a kid appeal character for each series or franchise. You get the point. I wanted to do a video talking about Transformers tropes for the longest time, and I'm starting out with the movies because I know that's the thing that a lot of you guys watch me for. In this video I want to talk about a particular trope that always kind of bugged me. This was completely fine at first, but it's so repetitive, and I hope Rise of the Beast doesn't do the same thing, but that is Optimus Prime always goes missing. No, seriously, listen, it was fine in the first movie because he was fighting Bone Crusher and Barricade, if you wanna go by the comics. He's not in time to stop Megatron from eating just a spark, and for Ratchet and Ironhide to be manhandled by Starscream. Revenge of the Fallen is the only time I can give Optimus Prime some sort of excuse, because he was, well, dead. Actually, not that I think about it, I'm surprised we haven't gotten a Studio Series Corpse Optimus Prime yet. In Dark of the Moon, they had to have Optimus Prime get stuck in some cables, which was very embarrassing. And in Age of Extinction, again, the trope repeats when the ship magically goes from Hong Kong to somewhere in the Chinese mountains. And The Last Night makes particularly no sense to me. Granted, you could say that about the movie, but in there, Optimus Prime says, "In this day, we will not fall." So he goes up to the ignition chamber, and then Lagna says, "Oh, he never made it to the ignition chamber." I'm sorry, what? Weren't you going off about, sticking together and fighting Quintessa, and then you just, you bailed out only to miraculously show up on Dragonstorm? Which, I might add, I think Optimus Prime in the movies has a riding fetish. Because you can fly, there's no need for you to ride Dragonstorm. Hell, this isn't even something that's just exclusive to the movies themselves. A lot of the comics and the novels also have a similar setup of Optimus Prime going missing. In Ghost of Yesterday, Optimus Prime basically gets split from the group, and then he needs to make it back to the Ark to help the Autobots defeat the Decepticons. Admittedly, the IDW comics kinda do this a bit less, but there has been occasions like in the Alliance comic, and a few others in which Optimus Prime goes missing. Why does this keep on happening? I don't know. The main reason why they do this in the movies is just so that Optimus Prime can show up heroically at the last second and save everyone. Which, that's all well and good for the guy, but Optimus, had you just stick with the group, you probably could have saved, Jazz, Leader 1, RC, Chromia, Wheeljack, Ironhide. Hey, that's another one! This is a trope that doesn't exactly just is exclusive to the finale of each movie. Even halfway throughout the film, this can happen. In Dark of the Moon, there was literally no reason for Optimus to not be right next to Sentinel Prime. Admittedly, Optimus Prime's vehicle mode is smaller than Sentinel Prime and, a little faster. So there was no reason for Optimus Prime to be quote-unquote a few minutes behind everyone else. And also, I might add, that time around, Optimus had, wings that he could have used to fly, so...
Well, that's just Prime.
Hell, again, in Age of Extinction, well, it wasn't really Optimus's fault, it was kind of the fault of all the Autobots that were kind of just waiting to jump in at the KSI facility. There was no reason for them to be a little closer, they could have, rescued Kate sooner and maybe do more damage sooner. The Last Night, however, is very unforgivable and very, weird when it comes to Optimus Prime going missing. After he gets the crap beaten out of him by the Guardian Knights, and Cade basically pulls an Age of Extinction and tells Optimus to protect his family or else he will die. Optimus vows that he will help undo his mistake and fight back against Quintessa. Now keep in mind, Optimus Prime can fly. So why is Optimus not, swooping in to Stonehenge to fight Megatron and the Decepticons? The guy has been seen taking down plenty of scourges of Decepticons all by himself. And from what we've seen, Nitrosuits isn't a particularly dangerous fighter. Barricade might pose some trouble, but even then, he got taken down pretty quickly by Grimlock. I'm sure the guy could just swoop in there and take them all down. Extra points for having the human military there too. What's funny is that this is also not a trope that's just unique to the Bayverse. The Bumblebee movie arguably has the same thing as well. Although for the movie was a bit more justifiable. Optimus stays behind to ensure the other Autobots escape, and he shows up way later in the movie. I believe other shows also do this, like Transformers Prime, Armada, and a bunch of others, but for this video on Transformers tropes, I'm just talking about the movies themselves, and this is one of those tropes that just sticks out like a sore thumb. Now, is this a bad thing? Not necessarily. I mean, it does provide for some really cool scenes, like when Optimus finally beats his arch nemesis, the Cables, and swoops down from the heavens to slay all those Decepticons. Something that probably wouldn't have happened, or it wouldn't be as dramatic if he would have been there in the first place. In some scenarios I can kind of understand, and I'm glad that at least Michael Bay thought of a reason why he goes missing, but I feel like after Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon gave us a very silly reason why he went missing. Age of Extinction is like a very plot convenient reason why he went missing. We just conveniently happened to land in these Chinese mountains with enough space for the Dinobots to, you know, cavalry charge back to the city. And for the last night, there was just no excuse. But then again, Michael Bay pretty much gave up for that movie. It remains to be seen if Rise of the Beast will do the same thing. I personally think it won't do the same thing, but I mean, I could be wrong, because it looks like Optimus is going to be present for the most part, like heavily throughout the film, and the film's mostly about him. So maybe we won't get a repeat of this trope, but who knows. Place your bets in the comments down below. Also, by the point of this recording, we're 555 days away from Rise of the Beast. Have fun with that information. But yeah guys, that's the live action movie trope of Optimus Prime always going missing. I might make more episodes talking about Transformers tropes, because I don't think that's something that people particularly talk about on YouTube. And you know me, always breaking new grounds on what I can do with the Transformers franchise. If this video gets received pretty well, and if I see enough people like asking for more tropes, for me to explain and talk about more tropes in Transformers, I might even open up the gates for Transformers Prime, the Unicron trilogy, G1, or even the fanbase itself, because the fanbase and Hasbro also have a couple of tropes that are fun to talk about. But yeah, that's it for this video guys. Hopefully you'll enjoy. Let me know your thoughts on this trope, if you like it or not, and what other trope I should cover in the next video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe guys.